Chapter 13 of Married Thrice to Salted Fish. Darius' present crown prince was the emperor's eldest son. It had been 3 years since he has become the master of the Eastern Palace. His biological mother was Chen Gufei, who has dominated the 6 palaces for many years and whose position was tantamount to being the second empress. This time, on her 40th birthday, all the noble ladies would go to the palace to offer her their well wishes and present to her their gifts. The manager of the mansion's storehouse sent a list and said, "All the things in the mansion are listed here, as Madam has instructed, asking Shaojun to please select a suitable birthday gift." Lin Qingyu gave it a cursory glance and asked, "The booklet the madam gave me said that the Eastern Palace has rewarded Master Hao with a pair of sheep fat white jade ruby. Why is it not in the storehouse?" The manager said, answering Shaojun, "This pair of jade ruby was sent by the madam to the war minister's mansion to congratulate his son on his wedding." Lin Qingyu asked again, "And where is the 1,000-year ginseng given by Chen Gufei?" The manager smiled and said, "Naturally, it was used to help the young master." Lin Qingyu nodded. "I see. You can leave now. Before Madam enters the palace tomorrow, I will have a gift prepared for her." Lang Shi's only requirement for the gift was that it be of equal value. The Nanan Hao mansion can neither be lacking in respect to Chen Gufei, but neither could they be seen as trying to ingratiate themselves to her, especially since the Nanan Hao mansion and the Empress even had a relationship by marriage. Things were becoming more and more delicate. The Empress actually had a son who was born mentally challenged. He was unable to inherit the throne and was also unable to obtain the Emperor's favor. All this time, he has been kept in the temporary imperial residence. The Empress has always been anxious about her son, and naturally, she held a grudge against this mother and son pair. Although the Empress was far less favored than Chen Gufei, she was still the mother of the country. While giving a gift to Chen Gufei, the Nanan Hao mansion still had to keep in mind the honor of the palace. The various twists and turns defined simple explanation. Lin Qingyu first selected a batch of gifts from the list and ordered the servants to move them into the Blue Wind Pavilion to let him go through them and choose. Lu Wancheng saw that the room was filled with gift boxes of all sizes and asked, "What are these?" Lin Qingyu said, "Chen Gufei's birthday gift candidates." Chen Gufei? Lu Wancheng had a rare frown on his face. "The crown prince's concubine mother?" "That's her." Lu Wancheng's face changed slightly. "When did you get involved with the Eastern Palace?" Lin Qingyu told Lu Wancheng about Lang Shi asking him to prepare the gift. Lu Wancheng still seemed uneasy and asked, "So you won't be going to the palace or seeing the crown prince?" "No," Lin Qingyu said suspiciously. "You don't ever care about other things, but how come whenever the Eastern Palace is mentioned, you have such a big reaction?" "Well, Lin Qingyu, probably in the original novel, you were probably doing something in the Eastern Palace. That's why your hubby is worried for you." Lu Wancheng hesitated for a moment and smiled. "That's the current crown prince, the future emperor. Is he not worth me making a senseless fuss over?" Lin Qingyu said, "The Empress is your aunt and the Princess Demu. Looking at it from that point of view, the Crown Prince is still your cousin. Lu Wancheng snorted. I do not wish to have the greasiest of the greasiest as my cousin. The topic about the Eastern Palace ended here. Lu Wancheng was a bit preoccupied, but he still didn't forget to remind Lin Qingyu. Since the Liangshi dared to use Chen Gufei's matter to create an issue, she probably feels that the time is about right. Lin Qingyu nodded. Don't worry, young Master Hao. I do have my own sense of proportion. The next day, Langshi got up an hour earlier than usual. La Momo waited on her to change into her court clothes. She asked, which courtyard did Master Hao stay in last night? La Momo said, Pan in Yang's courtyard. Liang Shi's expression sank. It's her again. La Momo persuaded. Pan Shi comes from a humble background and even her womb failed to live up to expectation. She is not worth Madam getting angry over. It will only be giving her face. That's true. Langshi looked at the woman in the mirror, still attractive though getting on in the years. She said, Master Hao should be coming for breakfast soon. Go to the Blue Wind Pavilion and invite him to come here. No matter which concubine's courtyard Nanan Hao stayed in for the night, he would always have breakfast with his wife the next day and listen to her talk about some of the mansion's affairs. He would not involve himself in the household affairs, but he had to at least keep abreast of what has been happening. During the meal, Langshi mentioned the matter of Chen Gufei's gift. Nanan Hao said, this may seem like a trivial matter, but in actuality, it has big implications. Where is the birthday gift you prepared? Show me. At this time, the servant came in and announced, Master, Madam, Shaojun is here. Langshi said with a smile. Speaking frankly to Master Hao, there are many things that need to be done to run the household. I'm getting on in the years and it is inevitable that I am unable to do as much as I would wish. I assigned some things to Qing Yu to take care of. As a matter of fact, he has been taking care of the accounts for a period of time. I have also instructed him to handle the matter of Chen Gufei's birthday gift. He is here now, presumably just for this matter. There is still quite some time before the morning court. Why not stay a while and see what he has prepared? Nanan Hao nodded. Let him come in. Lin Qingyu walked in, followed by Feng Xin and Huang Tong. One was holding a book and the other was holding an exquisite gift box. He greeted the two of them in accordance with the rules. Nanan Hao looked at the gift box and said, Is this the gift you prepared for Chen Gufei? Yes. Asking Madam and Master Hao to please take a look, Lin Qingyu gestured and Feng Shen presented the gift box, her hands trembling slightly. Looking at the shape of the gift box, it seemed to be something long. Nanan Hao opened it and took a look. It turned out to be a well-rolled painting. Nanan Hao ordered someone to unfold the painting. His face suddenly changed and he got up in anger. Impudent! Lang Shi pressed down on the corners of her mouth. She stood up with him and said in disbelief, This painting was made by a master of the Shu dynasty 500 years ago. This is an heirloom passed down in Master Hao's family. How can you take it to give as a gift? This painting is priceless. His Majesty loves this painting very much. He has ordered me numerous times to bring this painting to the palace so that we may admire it together. It is because of that solitude he shows to his ministers that even when I offered to give this to him as tribute, he never accepted it. And now you're going to take this to Chen Gufei, the crown prince's concubine mother? Nanan Hao slammed his fist against the table. Towering with rage, he said, there is nothing His Majesty fears more than ministers getting too close to the crown prince. You clearly know what calamity you nearly caused. Lin Qingyu held back his gaze and said, Lin Qingyu wouldn't dare. You wouldn't dare? Nanan Hao was already furious. Who does not know that the son of the imperial Pan Gong is matchlessly intelligent and exceptionally clever? I think you did this intentionally to put the Nanan Hao mansion in danger. Langshi said, fearful at what might have happened. Fortunately, Master Hao looked at it beforehand. Otherwise, in the future, if His Majesty were to see this painting at Chen Gufei's, who knows what sort of suspicions he would have regarding Master Hao and the Crown Prince's relationship. Langshi glanced at La Momo, signaling to her that it was time for her to add oil and vinegar as she won't do so. Unexpectedly, La Momo's face turned flustered. Her face and posture was extremely unsightly. She asked in a low voice, what's wrong with you? La Momo whispered, I think I was bitten by some bug and my body is unbearably itchy. What was this compared to the critical juncture they were facing? Langshi said, displeased. Master Hao is still here. Pay attention to etiquette. La Momo forced herself to endure. Yes. Lin Qingyu said calmly. Master Hao, I have already married into the Hao mansion. There is no retreat for me. Should the Nanan Hao mansion run into misfortune, it will be difficult for me to escape responsibility. The reason why I chose this painting is because of the madam's command. Langshi's eyes widened and exclaimed, What nonsense are you talking about? It was Madam who said that the gift to be given to Chen Gufei must be of equal value to the rewards she had bestowed. Although Nanan Hao and Langshi were not husband and wife by the first marriage, they have been sharing the same bed for many years. Lin Qingyu was just a daughter-in-law who he rarely saw. At this point, he naturally believed Langshi. What she said was right. You do indeed need only to prepare a gift of equal value. But then, what did you do? Lin Qingyu said. The crown prince once bestowed a pair of sheep fat white jade rui to Master Hao. This too is a relic from the previous dynasty and could be considered priceless. Its worth is equal to this painting. What sheep fat white jade? Nanan Hao said sternly. His Royal Highness the Crown Prince has never given me anything of the sort. Langshi thought intently. I don't remember such a thing either. Langshi frowned. He hasn't? But it was written in the booklet Madam gave me. Huantong? Huantong presented the book. Nanan Hao quickly scanned through what was written and his eyes grew colder. He threw the book to Lin Qingyu. Look for yourself. Where is the sheep fat white jade you said? Lin Qingyu tilted his head to avoid it. He picked up the ledger and read through it. Indeed, it's not here. Nanan Hao pointed to Lin Qingyu and said, What else did you have to say? La Momo was still struggling with the abnormality of her body and she couldn't get a word out. Ooh, the poison is acting up, huh? Langshi had no choice but to say herself, Chingyu, just what is going on with you? You lost the pages of the ledger twice, and today. Oh, Nanan Hao said. The ledger? What ledger? Langshi said, It's no big matter. There is no need for Master Hao to concern him. Ugh. It is no big matter. There is no need for Master Hao to concern himself about it. Tell me. Langshi had no other choice. She was forced to tell him everything regarding the ledgers. Nanan Hao was even more furious when he heard this. He decided that Lin Qingyu had done everything deliberately. Bring me the rod. Lin Qingyu swept his eyes over everyone and said slowly, There is no sheep fat white jade ruby in the booklet, but I clearly remember that there was. Why is that? I also remember that there wasn't a single page missing from either of the two ledgers, but when it got to the madam, they were missing a page each. Why is that? Langshi blurted out. Naturally, it is because of your improper care. My improper care? Lin Qingyu smiled softly. Could it be that someone deliberately took those pages away? Qingyu, matters have already reached this point and you still want to implicate others? Langshi shook her head. With such poor character, you're not worthy of Wan Cheng, let alone being Shaojun of the Hao Mansion. Just as she finished speaking those words, a thud was heard. La Mao Mo, who's been standing to one side, suddenly fell down. The crazed woman writhed on the ground, tearing her clothes, ravings spewing from her mouth. It was terribly frightful. Before anyone could react, Feng Shen, behind Lin Qingyu, also felt twitching. She was a girl after all, and she bit her lip, trying her hardest to refrain from pulling her clothes. However, she kept hitting the ground with her head. Boom, boom, boom. Like a death nail hurrying her to her death. Everyone present was terribly scared. Several of the servant girls screamed in fear. Lang Shi, who was closest to La Momo, froze and couldn't even move. She stretched out her hand and said in horror, Master Hao! Lin Qingyu said, The pages of the ledger and the booklet went missing in the Blue Wind Pavilion. So naturally, it was done by someone of the Blue Wind Pavilion. In order to catch this person, young Master Hao ordered me to expose the page where the sheep fat white jade ruby was written to a special type of poison. Once the skin comes in contact with this poison, one's whole body will be itchy and covered in sores. Although it poses no threat to one's life, one might just wish they were dead instead. Before that, I repeatedly warned the servants against touching the booklet the madam sent. That someone from the Blue Wind Pavilion has been poisoned is to be expected. Lin Qingyu paused and glanced lightly at Lang Shi. But I didn't expect that La Mao Mao, madam's most trusted aide, would also be poisoned. Nanan Hao was a wise man. Stringing together the previous coincidences, he already understood. He turned his head to look at Lang Shi. Lang Shi was dumbfounded. Master Hao, I don't know anything. I don't know what's going on. Hitting upon a plan in desperation, she retorted with a counter change. Lin Shi must be deliberately poisoned them to frame me. Lin Shi, how could you possibly have let me down? You have resorted to such cruelty? Lin Qingyu sneered. He walked up to Feng Shen and looked down at her and asked, "It's unbearable, isn't it?" Feng Shen had bit her lips into bleeding. She struggled to say, "Shaojun, please." "I can give you both the antidote, but I want to know the whereabouts of those missing pages. Understand?" La Momo had already scratched her sleeves into shreds, revealing a large part of her arms covered with sores. It was a ghastly sight, and it sent a little maid who saw it retching. When she heard the word antidote, she couldn't attend to anything else. Madam had me burn them." Langshi shook her head, still quibbling. "No, Master Hao, I didn't. Ling Shi, this is a confession under torture. You can't believe the Master Hao." Lin Qingyu said, "If Master Hao is unconvinced, you can question the manager Wang of the accounting office. He hasn't been poisoned yet, and he is sober. With Master Hao's impartial and incorruptible means, you will surely be able to find out the truth." Nanan Hao closed his eyes and said, "Come and drag these two crazy women away." After Feng Shen and Lao Mamo were taken away, the room grew silent. The servants were afraid to even breathe too hard, until the steward of the Hao mansion reminded Master Hao, "You should go to the court, and Madam too should head to the palace." After such a commotion, Langshi's hair bun was scattered and her makeup was also spent. The mistress of the household cut a very sorry figure and she had lost face. Nanan Hao said, voice low, Go, go quickly and freshen up. Choose a gift and give to Chen Gufei. As for the rest, we will talk about it when I return home." After speaking, he walked away. After Nanan Hao came back from the palace, he personally and privately questioned Manager Wang of the accounting office. No one knew all the facts and what had actually happened. The people of the mansion only knew that the madam knelt all night in the ancestral hall and fell ill the next day. In order to let her recover from her illness, the master handed over the affairs of the mansion to Linqing Shaojun and Panshi Yingchang. The results of this matter were not much different from what Lin Qingyu expected. Nanan Hao paid particular importance to face, and Langshi was his wife after all. On the surface, he would not do anything to her, but everyone knew that the power in the Hao mansion was about to change. After this incident, Lu Wancheng's body gradually recovered, returning to the point where he could get out of bed. The medicine he drank every day also changed. Hua Lu gave him the decoction, and smelling it, he could tell that it wasn't his usual medicine. Dr. Zhang changed his prescription. Hua Lu said, "No, this is Shaojun's medicine." Lu Wancheng heard these words and suddenly sprayed out the medicine he had just taken. Lin Qingyu came into the room just in time to see the scene. Laughing, he said, "You can't even drink medicine anymore?" Lu Wancheng had a coughing fit, and Hua Lu was busy cleaning up again. Lin Qingyu never showed mercy with his words, but he walked to the bed and sat down, stroking Lu Wancheng's back, mollifying him. Lu Wancheng smelled the very faint smell of parchment and ink on his body, mixed with the fragrance of medicine. He seemed like someone picking immortal straight out of some book. Because Lu Wancheng was too lazy to do anything, too lazy that when he does things, he often ends up in a daze and finds himself observing the people around him. He has mastered the ability to weigh a person's words and observe their facial expressions. For example, now he could sense that Lin Yu was in a bad mood. The feeling of coldness suddenly surrounding his whole body could make people retreat 3 days march. He didn't dare to be rash. He asked cautiously, Yu, why are you changing my medicine? Lin Yu said lightly, why do you think? Lu Wancheng waved at Hua Lu to leave and then asked him with a low smile, do you think I'm taking my sweet time dropping dead? Lin Yu sneered. Yes. Lu Wancheng let out an oh and picked up the medicine ball, drinking down all the medicine in it. Lin Yu's brows furrowed slightly. And why did you do that? Lu Wancheng licked the corners of his lips and said, if you really wanted to poison me, you wouldn't have waited until now, let alone let Hua Lu know about changing the prescription. You think Dr. Zhang's prescription is no good, so you changed it to a better one for me. Ling Qingyu suddenly stood up. You think you're so clever? Drink it if you want. Don't drink it if you don't. Lu Wancheng grabbed the hem of his clothes to prevent him from leaving. Are you angry again for the umpteenth time? No, seeing you puts me in a bad mood, that's all. Lu Wancheng earnestly thought back on what he had done recently. Innocent and confused, he asked, what did I do wrong? Lin Qingyu remained silent as he thought. Lu Wancheng was right. He has never said what he wanted. He has never said that he wanted to live longer, that he would not be able to participate in this year's Imperial Medical Officer's examination was because he himself had momentarily been overcome with a bout of soft-heartedness or foolishness. But if he missed the exam this year, he could still take the exam 3 years later. But Lu Wancheng only had this little bit of time left. When a person dies, there is nothing left. Lin Qingyu's tone was a little slow. This prescription was given by my father. I made improvements according to your situation. It can't save your life, but it can make you live for half a year longer and make your last days less painful. When the time comes, you won't cut short a sorry figure. He has met many people drive to the brink of death because of illness. No matter how much dignity they had before, when the time came, none of them looked very good. They could not accomplish their day-to-day activities by themselves. They had to rely on others for everything. Lean as a rake, ashen and beaten, waiting until their oil ran out. People like Lu Wancheng shouldn't wither away in such torment. However, Lu Wancheng didn't care whether he died in torment or not. You said, I will live half a year longer. Lin Qingyu lowered his eyes, not looking at him. Yes. Lu Wancheng's eyes moved slightly. His Adam apple rolled up and down. Qingyu. He called out his name and fell silent. It made Lin Qingyu feel embarrassed. Don't get me wrong, Lin Qingyu said. Human life is the most important thing. The virtue of saving a life is worth more than 1,000 gold. Since I'm practicing medicine, I can't stand by and watch an innocent die without trying to save them. When Lu Wancheng spoke again, his voice was a little muffled. But you can't save me. I know, but as long as I try my best, I will have a clear conscience in the future. Lu Wancheng laughed, his lips curled slightly. His eyes were bright, even beautiful, but the words he said were still infuriating. Aya, yeah, has the vicious and merciless beauty turned bent for me? Lin Qingyu couldn't hide his disdain and refused to concede. Young Master Hao really does think too highly for himself. Oh, young Master Hao really does think too highly of himself. Lu Wancheng straightened up, leaned close to Lin Qingyu's ear, and said softly, Qingyu, thank you. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, these people are flirting and they don't even know that they are flirting. Ah! Lin Qingyu wasn't used to him suddenly approaching him like that. The expression on his face, cold as icicles under the eaves, were suddenly on the verge of collapse. He said, This medicine, will you drink it or not? If I don't drink it, wouldn't I be betraying your good intentions? By the way, Lu Wancheng seemed to think of something important. Would drinking this medicine enable me to carry you? Lin Qingyu didn't understand why Lu Wancheng was so entangled over this matter. He raised his eyebrows slightly. You really want to be able to carry me? Lu Wancheng nodded. I really want to. A sneer hung on Lin Qingyu's lips. You should just give up on that idea. It's impossible for you in this lifetime. Lu Wancheng held up the medicine bowl while whispering in a low voice. Then, what the fuck am I even drinking this for? Oh my gosh, he just wants to get better so that he can pick his wife up. Oh my man, oh he's so cute, they're so cute.